Yeah, what is up, people? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the Esports Rewind podcast. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Jake. How are you doing?
No.
I asked first. I beat you to it. I'm pretty sure.
Great. I'm doing well, man. I am caffeinated. I am ready for this. I hope you guys
Always a
are
good
as
start.
well. Now you answer very quickly.
Yeah, life is good. I've got some new sandals, so hey, even better.
Wow, you really kept this short.
Yeah, really.
As per usual, we hope you guys
Just
all
highlights.
enjoy. It's been, we say it every week, but this week and next week, it's going to be crazy for a long, long time, especially the wild times we are in. At the bottom line, we hope you guys are all staying safe, staying healthy. Shall we roll it?
Yeah, real quick before we jump right into it, we've got a couple questions recently. If we're on Spotify or iTunes, the podcast, and yes, we are. If you look up Prediction, that's PREEDICTION, we're right there as part of their Esports Talk Show network, so check it out. We appreciate it.
And with that, let's kick it off. And in big news, of course, this past week we had Valorant's release. I'm sure we'll talk about this later on in the podcast. The timing of that release, quite unfortunate, but we do see several teams out there either finishing their rosters or announcing their rosters. Zan, I want to talk about one particular organization that I greatly respect and what could pay off as the biggest gamble or what could burn down as one of the worst investments we have seen when it comes time for Valorant, that being T1. And we have long talked about
that's
them.
fair.
I really do enjoy these guys. Of course, formerly SKT. If you guys don't know, now T1. Still well known for the Korean League of Legends scene. And this organization, I would say this for the headline, is now taking the Valorant as seriously as League of Legends. They are looking as Valorant as the next League of Legends and as the next big esport. And that, as a bottom line, I do respect. And it's very cool to see. If you guys have no idea what we're talking about, they just finished their North American roster, finishing up with Skadoodle, which is pretty cool pickup. That roster in itself has a bunch of fun storylines. The first ever Valorant Pro, 3 former iBuyPower guys. They're all Counter-Strike guys, even the coach as well. They've also now announced a North American Academy team brought to us by Joe Marsh, who actually heads T1, and a Korean lineup is now underway. And so I think it's so cool to see a team out there want to take a risk on what could be the next big esport and announce, confirm for the future, 3 separate rosters.
First of all, let me just say it's going to take me literally years to stop thinking of them as SKT.
Yes.
It's so weird that they're just T1 now.
And it's like SKT or SKTT1, and now it's T1. I had the same thought today when I was thinking about it. I was like, God, SKT is just like, it's stuck in my head.
Yeah, check back in a decade from now, I'll still be talking about them as SKT, but that's besides the point.
One of the overlooked rebrands, so I'll give you that
absolutely.
credit.
I think it's amazing to see a team like, swinging so big and really investing so much time, money, energy into a game that's so early on in its development,
Yeah.
And it's fascinating. I think it's an interesting call, probably smarter for them to make than it would be for some other organizations, given their region, because I think the game is almost guaranteed to be a huge success in Asia, even though I think that's still kind of up in the air in some Western regions. I think that's, debatable. But in Asia, hey, it's going to be huge. And the earlier they can have fans get attached to T1 and start building a relationship with the players and really connecting T1 as the Valorant org, the better for the team.
Yeah, and this is why I bring these topics up on the podcast, because you bring such a great perspective that, in the midst of a solo video where it's just me, I don't think of these points. There's so many tangents that...
To be fair, your points are usually solid, though. Don't discount your job.
I love the fact that you also bring up, this could be a good financial move, especially we've already seen a ton of Asian teams. Now, it might not be teams of note that you've all heard of. When it comes time for numbers of teams, though, the Asian market has been flooded with teams signing up to compete in this upcoming esport. And I want to bounce one last point is when it comes time for what they've invested, we don't know the numbers, but when it comes time for a North American roster, a North American Academy, and a Korean lineup as well, you might think, wow, they're probably spending a decent amount of cash. And then we ask the question, well, yeah, but look at all the teams out there investing 25 plus mil into a Call of Duty franchise.
Right.
Down the line, we're gonna assess all of these investments, right? We've seen a Virtus Pro investor drop $100 million. We've seen Immortals Gaming buy out the Optic Gaming brand and several teams for $100 million. We have seen 12 Call of Duty League organizations invest 25 plus million. We will see what investments pay off. And I hope that years from now, we're talking about this as one of the bigger gambles that did or maybe did not pay off. And so it's very, very cool what T1 is doing, and we will see how their success continues and how Valorant success also continues.
All right, Jake, I figured I'd address the more serious topic of the week up top. That way we can end on a happier note, you know.
Fair enough.
I would be remiss if I did not discuss probably the biggest piece of global news at the moment, which is the riots and protests that have broken out after the death of George Floyd, or the killing of George Floyd at the hand of some police officers in America. And the reason I'm bringing this up is just to highlight how this is still kind of while it may not seem directly connected to gaming and esports, this is still very much an important thing to be aware of because of how it can affect gaming and esports at the end of the day. Outside of the fact that, yes, this is a moral issue, a political issue, some might describe it as, but we've seen already how this moment in time is affecting the games that we love, right? Like Call of Duty, Infinity Ward rather specifically, earlier released a statement saying that they're going to start cracking down on racial names and racial abuse in their games, which is kind of odd. I'm like wondering why not just do it before? Like, you know, interesting call. But hey, I love to see it. We have people doing amazing things, like Dr. Disrespect donating an entire month of earnings, I believe. Like that.
Incredible move. We've talked, not to deter too much, but we know we've seen a long laundry list, and I think a lot of them do deserve their credit. Ninja taking his stances, Nick Merckx cutting ties with, National Guard,
which is amazing. I mean, Nick Merckx, that happened in like a day.
Has to be a tough move to make. Not to make this sound as if this is as the same worth of note, but still we have seen many publishers, developers also pushing back updates, pushing back releases, to not distract people from. We've seen streamers taking breaks on a Blackout Tuesday, which it was last week, to not distract people from a very, very big issue.
Yeah, and it's like it has been really amazing to see the whole gaming community come together and pretty much industry and community wide show their support for what's going on right now in America. And I suppose, not to dwell on it too much, I'd like to say that we, of course, condemn any actions that aren't for the sake of equality. And I think a lot of people are wondering what to do, or what should we be worried about companies that are saying stuff like Black Lives Matter, or saying that they stand for equality, even though they may have made some decisions in the past that are very directly, very provably counter to that thought process. My thinking is that it's still kind of important that they say these things, even if they're disingenuous, because if nothing else, they're still spreading the message and they're still normalizing it and such. And I think that can only be a good thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of companies out there, again, tied to gaming esports, make their statements. Like you said, we've seen Riot Games, we've seen Activision Blizzard, Epic Games, others follow suit as well. And clearly some of those have made decisions in the past that don't align with the words they are now using.
Yeah, unfortunately in the recent history too. Yeah.
But to that point, to give at least some credit for making these statements, it was going to be controversial whether or not they chose to do so. They did choose to do so. And I think I'll stick to the point where we have to move forward. You can't change what you've done in the past, and we can only hope they live by the words they posted in the future is probably the best way I can put it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that can be said for everyone.
Yeah.
Even if we've made mistakes in the past, it's the time to really analyze that and take it as an opportunity to improve all of ourselves, going forward. So, that's that.
I think I'm glad you brought it up now, and we've definitely seen so many people make their stances, make their moves, and do what they can for this movement. I think it's, in a weird way, it's brought out still a lot of negativity in its own right.
Unfortunately, is always going to.
But it's also brought out a lot of hard-standing people out there, and definitely people who hopefully will be continuing to want to make these changes. So it's been very interesting, I would say, to see what players and streamers, content creators, gaming companies have done so far. And we'll keep you guys posted for sure as this does become an ongoing issue, and certainly has been for some time.
Yeah, and shows no sign of stopping.
Yeah. I think we'll just see what happens next. But again, like we said before, we hope you guys are all staying safe and staying healthy. We do care about you guys, and we're glad that all of us can talk about this stuff respectfully. And kind of bouncing off, certainly what could be a controversial issue, I think, by a lot of eyes out there. Continuing on to another one is that Riot Games and Tencent have released Valorant, what could be one of the most untimely releases we have ever seen. With all the ongoing issues we've already discussed during this podcast, and I'm sure you guys are well aware, I think I want to preface by saying I think this is probably the most unfortunate timing. Not all of it faults on Riot Games or Tencent. We don't know what happened behind the scenes. But certainly, Zan, this past week, this podcast is actually pre-recorded. Valorant went ahead and actually still launched on what became known as Blackout Tuesday. There are certainly a lot of fans as well as players and viewers of that game and of gaming in general that probably either A, have no idea what was going on, B, also probably don't care what was going on.
Yeah, they just want to play their game.
But I think it's fair for us to say, given all the other delays and of updates, releases, I mean, I could list a long name for all of you guys. Streamers also not streaming. We have Activision Blizzard delaying a lot of releases. Activision for, multiple Call of Duty titles actually delaying updates. Fortnite pushed back a season. Twitch, by the way, who had a correlated launched tournament with Valorant. It was supposed to be on Tuesday. They, too, even pushed it back. Amongst many other people, PlayStation themselves.
Yeah, that's the one that's really wild to me. I mean, PlayStation delayed the announcement, the official reveal of the PlayStation 5, which has been highly anticipated. I'd say that's a much bigger event than the launch of Valorant, you know? Just because it's more broad, if nothing else. And if they can push that back, then Riot absolutely can delay the launch of a game that's only coming out digitally.
And I'm simply just trying to paint one side, that being that plenty of people, organizations, and companies on that same day or within that same period of time announced delays of pretty big events for them, and Valorant did not. I am not fully blaming Riot Games. Again, like we just said,
we don't know.
We do not know. And obviously this was a big thing for them. They could have found out within hours, and they did release, I believe, earlier in the Asian region. So, and this all happened again around... It was
Blackout Tuesday did come together pretty quickly. So it is always, there is the possibility that by the time it happened or before like Riot actually knew what the procedure was, the game was already live in Asia, and then it's just weird to release it there.
You can't launch it there, and then obviously they were put in sticky shoes. I was surprised though, because that team has been very transparent. I wish they maybe even would have come forward and said, "Hey guys."
Yeah, see that's I agree.
But does that draw more eyes to it, make it look worse? We don't know. It's a very, very combative time.
I think it would have made a lot of sense if they were just like, "Look, guys, we understand, and here's either why we can't push back the release, but we still want to show our support, and so maybe make a donation in the name of the release or something, or they could have said, in another world where they decided not to release, a statement saying like, hey, we decided not to release for these reasons, and here's why. Because
now without their statement, it makes a lot of people, I would say rightfully so, kind of just speculate what happened, right? Because so many other teams had delayed around the same time, it does make you curious if Riot Games had enough notice. We, again, do not know that. And at the end of the day, now we're left to speculate, okay, maybe it wasn't the Valorant dev team because obviously their hands are being forced. Was it Riot Games, or was it your partial owners, Tencent, who was like, we don't care about this issue? And again, that could be a drastic take. This is speculation. Were they forced at some upper hand? And then, of course, the fire does come down to the Valorant team. And so now they have not announced anything. Maybe we'll never hear anything about this. I would say at the end of the day, whether or not you blame Riot Games or Tencent, whoever had the choice in this, or whether you don't blame them, this could possibly be one of the most unfortunate timings of a release that I personally have ever seen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And now we, of course, will talk about more in the future, that being Valorant viewership and Valorant player base. I don't think it's directly correlated, but we are seeing a mixed.
I don't even know that it's mixed. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, it is shocking how, I think, what was the number? I think I wrote it down. Yeah. Closed beta had an average of 3 times more viewers than the actual launch of the game.
Yeah.
Which that is a staggering amount of people who are just like, I'm chilling. And it's not like viewership hasn't rebounded since Blackout Tuesday either. It's not like people just weren't watching that day, came back on Wednesday. No, people just lost interest to an extent.
Yeah, we're going to see where this one goes. Obviously, the main point here being the very unfortunate timing. I think that maybe played a tiny, tiny part, and we'll see how Valorant, if they can bounce back, how they do. And, of course, we'll break that down for you guys as it does come out.
All right, Jake, I guess it's Riot Games week because this is another story.
Last week we were all League of Legends too. We're sorry, guys.
Hey, we got to have we'll give you guys 2 weeks of League of Legends content, and then
we'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, how often do we talk about League on this podcast?
And next podcast segment will be a good one too, so hit me with it.
Yeah, okay, so this is a confusing one. It's very positive at its face value, but it gets weird towards the end. Recently, we talked about how Overwatch is bringing drops back to the Overwatch League, and they made an interesting call to not have drops available on YouTube, which is their exclusive streaming partner. And instead, they're hosting them only on the Overwatch esports website, when they made that announcement, everybody was confused. People were generally like, this is a horrible idea. Why would you do it this way?
Yeah.
And obviously didn't really do much for their viewership. Interestingly enough, Riot Games, owner of the #1 esport in the world, have decided to make the exact same weird decision.
Oh, it's going to be through LoL Esports portal?
Yes, they've announced that drops for League of Legends are returning for the LCS and LEC summer split, but you can't get drops on YouTube or Twitch at all. You have to watch on watch.lolesports.com.
Why are they doing this?
Right? That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I genuinely can't think of a good reason.
If you guys don't know, Call of Duty League, also on YouTube, did the same exact thing. They did it what we see, in our opinion, as the right way. You can watch on YouTube and still get your drops. So for Overwatch and now League of Legends, you have to go to those personal websites to actually get the drops. So not through the actual, Twitch or YouTube streams, which is incredibly weird because we've seen Twitch drops do so well, and especially with League of Legends viewership, even on YouTube, League of Legends viewership does really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't understand why they'd want to do this, especially after the success they saw with Valorant with drops specifically.
So League of Legends, and again, I don't know exclusivity when it comes time for their rights. They are a bit of a weird one because they do stream very well on YouTube and on Twitch.
Yeah.
So maybe were they afraid that was there some sort of thing with if they gave Twitch drops that YouTube would be like, hello?
I don't know.
That would obviously flood way more people to Twitch than YouTube. That's the only thing I could think of.
It's always possible, but this just seems like a weird way to split the community, especially because my main thing is that, so if it's on a portal like this as opposed to Twitch or YouTube, let's say I watch all my content on my TV through my PS4. Yeah. And a lot of people use Chromecast or Roku or their Xbox or something like that. And so you can't watch esports and get drops at all because you can't watch on the web portal. You don't have an app.
Is their portal also in their game client though?
I don't believe so. I believe they were very specific that you had to be on the website.
Because that would also make possible sense. I will say to their credit, if anyone can do this and make it work just fine, they already are fine on viewership.
I don't think they have to worry about too much.
It's League. They don't need more viewership, right? So maybe this is like a tease. We'll start here. We'll increase viewership a little bit, and then we'll hit them home with the Twitch or YouTube drops. Yeah,
it will be interesting. I think maybe we'll hear about your theory in terms of that comparison between Twitch and YouTube down the line when YouTube has sorted out drops 100%, because it seems like there's some kind of problem there.
Yeah.
Maybe once they have full drops fully, it'll come to both YouTube and Twitch, and then we'll know you were right. Then.
Yeah, we'll know you're right. Those are words I rarely hear. Yeah, we'll see. This is why we need more connections out there. If you guys know why all of a sudden all these games don't want to actually put drops on the actual streaming platforms, you drop a hint down below. We'll find out. League of Legends wants to increase viewership. Certainly they will, as they too now have added drops. All right, guys, to close out this podcast, I'm going to bring us a weird segment because if you guys don't know, we actually use some of these podcast highlights as solo videos. I wanted to change it up this week and have something very fun. If you guys like this, make sure to let us know so we can do more of this. If you have any other ideas, let us know as well. We're going to play what is called I think it's the word association game.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Shut the frick up. So I'm going to call out, 10, 11, 12 esports orgs. And me and Zan are going to say the first person or word in general that comes to your mind. In order for us to bail out on some of these, and again, we're going to sound like idiots for a few of these, you guys can, of course, comment yours down below, what you would say. I'm going to say an esports organization name.
Okay.
And you can either say a word or a name that comes to mind.
I'm ready.
And I might say both because I don't want to feel bad. All right, here we go.
Yeah, hit me with it.
So the first one is Team Liquid.
Horses.
Okay, you're going to take this a weird way.
Yeah, the logo kind of looks like it's a Pegasus, right?
I like the way you think. I was going to say Double Lift, although he's currently on TSM. When I think Liquid, I think Double Lift.
Yeah, unfortunately, that if I had to pick a second one, I would immediately not just go Double Lift. I'd go Double Lift Conspiracy.
Okay.
With Lena, because it's poisoned the well. It's poisoned the well.
I love this already. Okay, next up is FaZe Clan.
Banks.
I was going to say Banks as well, or Controversy Kings.
Call of Duty Trick Shots.
But he is definitely the face, I would say, when it comes time for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. G2 Esports.
Samurai. Ocelot,
okay.
yeah. Is Ocelot what G2?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought so.
Okay,
I was pretty sure, but hey, I
was going to say Ocelot, or I was actually going to say not Controversy Kings because I made sure that was for FaZe Clan. The Bad Boys. I think they kind of fit the bad boy role.
I'd say Ocelot does. I don't know about the rest of G2.
Yeah, the League of Legends team definitely kind of, I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
definitely in person, they're probably not bad boys, but Ocelot gives off that. All right, this one's going to be Fnatic.
See, I don't.
It's tough, right?
Yeah, I just think of their logo redesign and how it's like, so subtle.
That's fair.
And like,
so you think
yeah.
of logo.
I think logo and I think merchandise.
Orange.
Yeah. Tony the Tiger.
CSGO fans, Jesus. CSGO fans know this one. When I think Fnatic, I think of kind of the 0330 kind of thing going on. But I also think Swedish. I don't know why.
Fair play. I mean,
JW, you guys. TSM.
Well, I mean, immediately Lena, but that's just because right now I have no attachment to TSM overall. I don't like their logo. That's my thought process.
As of late, if I hear TSM, I think of drama.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a tougher one as we close out this list. Navi.
What's homie's name? I'm gonna sound like an idiot.
Simple.
Yeah, Simple.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a CS:GO guys. Apologies.
Yeah.
And none of these are fighting game orgs.
So
I like. Gonna bring up Knuckle Dew from Liquid. And
all right, let's do 2 more. If you guys want more of this, make sure to let us know. Cloud9.
Merchandise.
Merch?
Yeah, yeah, Merch and Isaac. Isaac, our good friend, a boy.
We got a boy. Yeah. We got a boy who actually has a Cloud9 tattoo. Die hard.
Yeah, literally every time a drop happens, he'll send me like some questions like, "Oh, what do you think about the merchandise here? Which pieces should I grab?" It's never the question is never should I buy the merch. It's how much of the merch do I buy?
I think surprisingly, I think of Sneaky.
That's fair. I think he's like, I
don't know. Yeah, I also think of like Liquid's younger brother that's like trying to compete at all times. Obviously, most recent League of Legends, yes, Cloud9, very, very. But I think at most of the time, they're always chasing Liquid.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And like Sneaky is a good pick. He's kind of the face of Cloud9 for several years. Yeah.
All right, last one for this one, 100 Thieves.
Nade Shot, of course.
I think it's tough not to think of the boy Nade when it comes to this one.
Because he is such like I don't know if I'd say a rarity, but he's such a unique story in esports.
And a big story. Just like Ocelot, right?
Absolutely.
I think they definitely paint themselves as the big face. Yeah. I enjoyed that, dude.
It was fun.
If you guys want another one, maybe we'll change it up and actually force ourselves to like actually name players or words. I don't know. I wanted to try that out, but
I'll just pick one.
So when you guys hear all those esports orgs, what do you think about? Alrighty, this has been a roller coaster of a podcast,
a little bit, up and down, up and down.
Oh my gosh, that was like, Anyway, we hope you guys all enjoy. Same time, same day, every single week, the Esports Rewind podcast. As per usual, at this point in the podcast, Xanifer, hit him with that good old fat outro.
All right, the spiel will be quick this week. As always, thank you everyone for tuning in. If you'd like to check out the podcast on, iTunes, Spotify, your favorite podcast platform of choice, we're on the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That's PREEDICTION. Tons of other great esports talk shows there as well. So, by all means, check it out. We appreciate all of our audio listeners. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to check out our daily esports news content, we post tons of videos every single day. Check us out on YouTube at Esports Talk. You can also find us at our website, esportstalk.com. We have articles that break down a little bit more of what Jake may talk about, as well as a lot of other interesting stories out there. If you want to reach out, send us a kind word, a story, all of the above. We really appreciate it. You can find us in the comments of all of our videos, or on Twitter at talk_esports, or on Instagram at esports_talk.
Thank you all, by the way, who reach out via DM. We really appreciate those. Thank you all who leave comments. We usually read those. I can't reply to all of them, but we enjoy them as well. Until next time, we hope you guys all enjoy. Take care of yourselves. All right?
Stay safe.
We'll see you guys back here next time. Bye.